Soldiers of 16 Signal Regiment and 1 MI Battalion marched through Mönchengladbach today for a final time.
The parade marks the end of 60 years in Rheindahlen, a district of the city purposely built for the British in the 1950s.
Also called JHQ, Rheindahlen's last remaining big formation, headquarters British Forces Germany, is moving north to Bielefeld, and it's time to say Auf Wiedersehen.
They came after the war and now they leave us as friends, and that's a very good feeling for me.
Inspecting the troops here is Britain's Vice Chief of the Defence Staff, Air Chief Marshal Sir Stuart Peach, himself once served in JHQ Rheindahlen.
It is a cosmopolitan place and it has an international feel. So we mark that today with this event and the parades.
It was from JHQ that the British Army of the Rhine and RAF Germany first managed a Cold War, and then the Allied Rapid Reaction Corps entered some hot ones. In the 1990s it mounted NATO ground operations in Bosnia and Kosovo, then in 2006 spent a year in Afghanistan commanding the international ISAF force.
A lot of people have built their lives here, and I recognise that these people, we're not just closing their office, we're closing their home. And, I gave a 40-year certificate to a man who'd arrived here. He worked here for 40 years, but he'd arrived here as a child at age 12 in 1960. We're shutting his town.
The farewell celebrations really began last night outside the 2,000-room office block they call the Big House. A final beating retreat ceremony at the place where many of Britain's armed forces chiefs forged their careers was one few here will forget.
This old girl deserves this, and I'm proud to be here today and this weekend.
I think in its own right it's been a good night, but as you say, set in the context of history and what it represents, then even bigger and very memorable.
Today's farewell parade will soon be followed by many others. In 5 years or so, the remaining British forces will have left Germany too, and a presence dating back to the Second World War will finally be at an end. Rob Olver, Forces News, Rheindahlen.